Hey, this is Mike Gretzinger, and we're out here for our Weston Family Foundation, RBC Tech for Nature, Saving Soils plots. This is our barley / roller crimping trial. We got 5 treatments we're going to look at real quick here. In the fall, the treatments are kind of the same, and then we start to differentiate some of them again in the spring. So this first treatment, this is actually an untreated check. So we haven't done anything to this since harvest. It got worked up earlier in the fall after this canola crop came off. And so you can see we almost have a cover crop as it is. Sometimes this volunteer canola actually makes a pretty decent cover. There's some wild oats coming up. I think if I was a farmer, I'd probably want to spray that and get that under control, especially if this was spring. You don't want all that stuff coming up in the springtime. But this is basically our bare ground check here. Next to me, this is our later date. So this got seeded right at the end there of September. This is a winter wheat plot, and next to me is that early seeded winter wheat. So you can see we're a little further ahead in staging, got quite a bit more growth through there. We're going to get a lot more cover and a lot more biomass if we can get in sooner in the fall. And if we were going to take this to yield next year, this would be a really good thing to do. We also went with a new variety this year. It's called Cold Front, and it's got a really short maturity. And so we're hoping that'll help speed things up for the spring. One of the biggest challenges we've had is just kind of, you know, this system of trying to roller crimp in the springtime. We just don't have a long enough growing season here. And so if we can do what we can to accelerate really early maturing varieties, that might help us get better yields the next year for our barley silage. There's 2 more plots right here. You can see just how vigorous they are. This is obviously going to have our best cover, and this was the early seeded fall rye, so we seeded this about September the 10th. You can see just how much has come up. This will be obviously the first thing to mature in the springtime. My guess is towards the end of May, maybe beginning of June, we'll be crimping this down and seeding into it. But for some of the other treatments, like the herbicide disc type treatment, and especially our intercropping trial or our living mulch trial, having too vigorous of a crop could also pose a problem. So we're going to compare this with the other one, see how that goes. And then this is fall rye that was seeded a little later. So this may actually be a better stage. I know lots of times it's great to get vigorous fall growth. This would be a terrific crop for next year if we were keeping it as a cash crop. So the comparison between these two, I think, will be interesting. My guess is there's probably too much growth going on here. We're going to be knocking our yields back quite a bit next year. Check back in, and we'll be out here doing some measurements in a couple of weeks. We'll be taking all the plant counts, taking some biomass, doing some soil sampling, getting all of our weather stuff installed, and just getting it all ready to go for the winter.